Welcome back to Streamline Entertainment. It's Marvin speaking. I just want to go into a article, and this was only in May, people, this year, and it's by the Birmingham Live. And I just want to read it again. Jay Slater's police issue a bombshell after being unable to find his friends. The friends he had been on holiday in Tenerife with are denying who they are, according to an inquest into the teen's tragic death. So this was for the first inquest, and this was produced on the 21st of May this year. So Jay Slater's friends who were with him when he went missing in Tenerife can't be found by police and are denying who they are as they avoided the inquest into the teen's death. Jay was tragically found dead in Tenerife last year after going missing a month earlier. The 19-year-old had vanished on June the 17th after trying to walk back to his accommodation. An inquest into his death was held today at Preston Coroner's Court with his family in attendance. But the court heard how Jay's friends who had been with him on the island were not in attendance and could not be found by police. Obviously, the first couple of paragraphs said they denied who they were. So I imagine that as being Brandon and Lucy. They're the first people that just come into my mind that I think that would do that. Seen as obviously Brad, the coroner's court received a letter or phone call from Brad to say that they were on holiday and that they wouldn't obviously be there that time because the holiday had already been booked, which is fair enough. The county senior coroner, Dr. James Adeley, said Lucy and Brad Hargreaves, who were with Jay Tenerife, was not present at the inquest. He said, "We can't find them. They have denied who they are, and we have had police looking for them, but we can't find them. Police attempted to serve a witness summons on Lucy Law, but were unable to locate her." So she probably wasn't even obviously in the UK, I think. Coroner's office, Alice Swarbrick said, "It's understood that Lucy is currently in Tenerife. Bradley Hargreaves is also currently on holiday, which was booked last October," the inquest said, which is fair enough. I said that Air Casino had rented the Airbnb, went back after the NRG Music Festival, but also been searched for by the Met Police, but they have been able to locate him. So that was by the Birmingham Live. I just want to go over one or two of the points. Right. So these were said to be his friends. So surely Dr. Adeley must have said, "What the hell is going on here? They're supposed to be Jay's friends, and why haven't they come forward? And why are they denying who they are?" So they must have thought, "No, it's not me. You're not looking for me." They must have been contacted by phone. Can you attend? Or basically heard from the court office, or even the police calling them, and they're denying who they were. And yet that's never been questioned by Debbie, which is very, very bizarre to me. Surely you've got to look at that, which is in writing, in actually writing from Dr. Adeley, saying that Lucy and Brad Hargreaves, who were with Jay Slater and Tenerife, were not present at the inquest, and they have denied who they are. Surely that would, I know this is only a coroner's course, but surely for Dr. Adeley, that would raise eyebrows and serious red flags in why are they denying who they were? Because I think what it was, I think they thought maybe they're going to be answered serious, deep questions that they may falter, or they may mess up, or they may say something that other people may be thinking, this is even more dodgy than what I first thought. But the thing is with Lucy, I do think that if she was pushed more, she would say things. I really do. And this is why we saw that with MWT when he was talking to her. You know more, you know more. She didn't want to give, but you could definitely tell that if she was pushed or interrogated by the police, she would actually spill the beans. You could actually see that. Possibly Brandon as well, because he didn't want to get into trouble. This is what I personally think. So when we see things like this, what are we supposed to think as the public, as sleuths, when you hear that they've denied who they are? Why are you denying who you were? Yeah, this was the first one. Yeah, so Lucy did come forward on something on audio. Ayub was basically on, obviously, on basically audio camera, which is fair enough. And then Brad actually turned up. Rocky couldn't be found, and it says basically somewhere in an article that there was a warrant out for him. Nothing on that at all. And the worrying thing about this case, and obviously seeing Debbie basically be interviewed by another basically news article, The Telegraph, is that she never really mentioned anything about these sinister people and the people that wasn't even being invited back to the wake. Jay's supposedly best friends, which is bizarre to me. Brandon and Brad, they weren't allowed technically to go into that wake, even though they were at the funeral. And I believe that was the last time she basically saw them. And I believe all conversation finished there, to be honest with you, because like they said what they had to said to the news because they were forced to come out, and that was it. And for me, as a parent, would I be happy with that? What I've just heard? No, you wouldn't, and it's never been questioned. And this is why myself, Wax, Duncan are questioning this, because there's something seems to be odd in this. And to be honest with you, I'm going to be completely honest. It just seems like to me, it just seems about money now, and blaming the sleuths for something that we tried to help with this case. And if it wasn't for myself, people like Mama D, Wax, Duncan, and many at Mary Ann, who's been threatened now, Haley Comet, and many of the others, it's just absolutely bizarre how this is done at 180, nearly 360 now on this case. And none of the stuff, Brandon no-show, never mentioned by the family. Never mentioned by the family or how they feel about that. The rest of the Jay's body parts being returned, Debbie said she didn't know when she's going to get them back. Nothing on that. Not a dicky bird or an update. Update on the GoFund, where that money's going, nothing. It's just not for me, for the people that basically put money into that GoFundMe to help with the family's expensive and to find Jay. And hopefully that money will go to missing people as well. And the number one thing was no more questions for Rocky and Ayub, which is quite bizarre because, like I said, in the first inquest, she wanted to see them face to face, and that she had, she wanted to see them and ask them questions. Obviously, Rocky didn't turn up. Ayub was on audio video and said what he said, but she never questioned. She never ever questioned them, which is really, really bizarre. And now we hear her saying that she's got a lot of respect for basically Chris Tenerife for going out there. Yeah, big up for going out there and searching for basically Jay. But like I said, there wasn't anything in how he was treating people and swearing and being abusive. You don't need to do that. You need to talk. You need to talk so people can understand you, your points of view. These friends had never come out and basically gave us something that we can think, all right, at least they come out and said something that make us think, okay, they were really, really honest there. They haven't been honest. And I'm just so sad to say, but at the end of the day, it hasn't been brought up by the family. It just seems like to me, they're just happy going on, your tabloid shows, the news, and basically running us down. Which I don't see why. I don't see at the end of that. I do believe, like I said, there were people who said some awful things, some really bad things. Obviously, Dan O'Keefe went a little bit over the top, and some others. But like I said, we were on Debbie and Warren's side. If you remember, Warren was talking to Wax. But like I said, I think he was told by the accident crew, stop talking. we've got to move on to phase 2, phase 3 now. And that's what it's about. But there's so many unanswered questions. And we've got it. We're not lying. We've got it here in writing that Lucy and Brad Hargreaves, who were with Jay in Tenerife, his friends, were not present at the inquest. Why not? You've got nothing to lose. You've got nothing to hide. And they have denied who they are. And that was from Dr. James Adeley, who said that. And yet, Debbie and Warren haven't questioned it in any newspaper article in technically why they weren't there. You know, why did they say that in the first place? Why didn't Brandon attend? He was supposed to be really, really close to Jay. I think that personally, Debbie hasn't really forgiven Brandon and Lucy because they've lied and they know a little bit more. But like I said, I think this case is going to just completely 180, and they just want people to completely stop talking about it. That's what it is. That's what the agenda is, I see, is people stop talking about this case. It's done now. It's dusted. It was an accident. That's it. Until we get the next. But why I keep going on about it, because like I said, we are 100% going to get the next, basically, Jay going out to Tenerife, a young lad, a young woman going out to Tenerife and going missing in basically circumstances near the same. And it's just going to be the same conversation again. It is alarming that some of these questions weren't answered or pushed to answered. I don't get it, to be honest with you, because if that was me and my child, I would want to face those who saw him last and question them eyeball to eyeball, so I can see, you know, what that child meant to me and what it actually meant to them and whether they were lying or not. I would really, really want to see that. And we've never seen any of that, which is really, really bizarre. And it just seems like the other side are just being well protected now. And that Debbie's only seeing their point of view because obviously she's well in now with basically the narrative to put out there that there are just people talking about this case for the fun of it. And it's not that. It is a lot more complex, and still people have a lot of answers and they're not happy in what they're told. And this is one of the reasons why myself and others come out to get our points across, which I think are very, very valid. Let me know what you think, people. Don't forget to subscribe to Streamline Entertainment and let me know. Thank you.